still can't hug our loved ones. Our I-team is looking at why, even with the vaccine, it can't reunite some families.
But first up this evening, we're taking a look with our News 12 drone over the new Amazon centers in Columbia County. The fulfillment center is the one in the front of this picture. The one on the back is separate. You're going to see that's actually Club Car.
And the new sorting center we told you about yesterday will go here right off to the left in this area where it's different colored dirt you see there. It's all in a business park off I-20 exit 183 in Appling. And together, these two centers, both of these Amazon centers, will bring almost 1,000 jobs to Columbia County. We have Nick Proto live now for us there at the business park. So, Nick, this is a really huge boost for our local economy.
Yeah, this property is going to look very different by the end of this year. We've been telling you for months about that Amazon fulfillment center coming here in July. But as you said, Amazon's also got another project in the works. Nearly a year and a half after announcing the fulfillment center coming to White Oak Business Park, Columbia County and Amazon are teaming up again.
So we're excited to welcome them for a second time.
Right next to the fulfillment center, a sorting center. The difference between the two?
Absolutely everything.
The fulfillment center is bigger with more technology and robotics. The sorting center is the next link in the chain between ordering your package and receiving it at your door. It'll take packages from fulfillment centers across the region and send them out for delivery. Having the sorting center in the area does not guarantee faster shipping. That depends on whether your order is in stock at a nearby fulfillment center. But it does guarantee more jobs coming to Columbia County.
This opportunity is going to bring several hundred jobs into Columbia County. Because it's a part-time environment for many of those jobs, I think that opens up job opportunities to people who currently aren't in the labor force.
Bennett says this project was all about location and it worked great for both sides. Amazon gets 2 new centers right off the interstate and Central in the southeast. For the county, around 1,000 new jobs. A much-needed boost in a year where many are still struggling during the pandemic.
It's one of those dream projects that we like in economic development that we didn't actually have to give a property tax incentive on this particular project.
Give me an exact number when I asked him just how many jobs this was going to bring, but he said it's safe to say several hundred on top of the 800 jobs the fulfillment center is going to bring. He says job applications and fairs should be coming soon, and we'll have all that information both here and on our website, wrdw.com.
Okay, that is going to make a big impact for the whole area, Nick. Thank you. Taking a look out over busy Grovetown and I-20 right here on another gorgeous afternoon. But Riley, you said
pattern change early next week in the full forecast.
The largest vaccine clinic our community has ever seen happen today. More than 2,300 people were vaccinated at AU's vaccination sites today. They averaged 300 vaccinations an hour. That's 5 people every minute. So they were moving them through there quickly. And a lot of those who got the shot today are teachers and school employees.
Brady Trapnell spoke with AU Health about the impact clinics like these are having on our local school districts.
For so many,
very excited. The kids need to be back in school.
the day is finally here.
But I have been waiting anxiously.
Heather McGregor teaches in Columbia County schools. She got an email from the school nurse and signed up immediately.
I think it would be great to have all the kids back in school. I think it's needed. I think they learn better in person.
That's why many of these people are here and why AU Health plans to vaccinate 6,000 over 3 days. Amy Kersey is braving the risk of COVID while doing her student teaching hours in a local high school.
That's just something we all have to deal with right now and just work through. So we just take the most of the precautions that we can and just go with it.
AU gave teachers in Columbia County and Richmond County the links to these mass clinics first, after partnerships with the school districts.
Hopefully getting more educators, more staff in Richmond County vaccinated ultimately gets more kids back into the classroom and gets parents back to work.
AU Health will reach 10,000 vaccinations just this week across their vaccination sites. The question is how to get more teachers signed up, since some remain skeptical.
I am very relieved that there is hope in the near future that we will all be back in school.
Reporting in Augusta, Brady Trapnell on your side.
AU is booked for appointments through 8 o'clock tonight, so there are still people coming and going as we speak. But there are clinics tomorrow and Saturday as well. Another vaccine clinic today in Richmond County. This one was at the Oasis Church at Hephzibah, right off Highway 88. This one was first come, first served, and in the first hour, they'd already vaccinated 50 people. So pretty impressive work happening all across our area. Happening in less than 2 hours, President Biden will give his first primetime address as president. Earlier today, he signed that $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill, really historic, and officials say your stimulus check could come as soon as this weekend. You can watch it right here on News 12 tonight at 8 o'clock, his address. It comes exactly 1 year after one of the most monumental days for COVID-19. Last March 11th, COVID was declared a pandemic. The NBA shut down their basketball season. Do you remember? We were all thinking, what is going on? And we learned Tom Hanks and his wife tested positive. And from there, the wheels just kept on coming off the bus.
Scary time. We didn't know what we didn't know at that point. There was a lot of unknown stuff. But here we are a year later, and there's some good news and bad news. If your loved one is in a nursing home, the good news, of course, the COVID cases in long-term care facilities are down nearly 80% in Georgia since January, and the majority of residents are now vaccinated.
Which is all really encouraging, but the bad news, vaccinations will not give you a free pass to visit your loved ones in nursing homes right now. RLA Team's Liz Owens has been covering the virus's cruel impact in our local nursing homes.
Say what you mean and mean what you say.
You sneak in late, though, or whatever after you're supposed to be home, you know. She'd be behind the door with the broom. She'd run you with the broom. That's the kind of stuff she did.
Linda Hallman wouldn't dare not say what she meant to her mother.
I didn't miss a day. Not one day.
Even when her mom's memory began to fail.
She went in May of 2018. I promised her I'll be there every day. Every single day, and I did. Up until they locked the door. Sure did. And I miss her.
It's been 365 days since Hallman has walked through the doors at the place at Pepper Hill in Aiken.
And I thought it'd just be a couple, 4 weeks maybe. Here we are a year later. She just smiled at us through the window.
It's still difficult to make sense of it all a year later. It's even more difficult for 88-year-old Carrie Lewis Harris to understand.
That's our biggest fear, is that she might pass away before we can see her, because my mom was not really good health, and then Alzheimer's. And
more than 6,000 long-term care residents in Georgia and South Carolina have died of the virus since nursing homes first closed down. We lost more than 360 of our own right here at home.
I can't even give my mom one last kiss. None of that. And it's sad.
In your hometown, in your grandmother's nursing home, you never think it's going to be you.
Many families never had a chance to say hello.
She said, come on in and see me. She said, you can come. Why you can't come in and check on me? I said, well, Barbara, with this COVID.
Let alone goodbye.
I said, we can't, come in right now. They didn't know that the blind was open. It was like open just a little bit. So her lips had even turned, like another color. I mean, I knew she was dead.
2020 is a fairly devastating year. It certainly is the most difficult year that any long-term care provider has ever faced.
Tony Marshall is the president and CEO of the Georgia Healthcare Association. His organization represents the nursing home industry in Georgia.
When comparing to January, we're down about 73% in the number of positive resident cases in long-term care, and about 68% decline in the number of deaths as well, which is indicative that the vaccines are doing their job.
Hallman's mother's had her vaccine. Hallman has had it too.
If you've had your vaccine and she's had her vaccine and the other patients have had their vaccine, why aren't you allowed in there?
I have no idea. I guess we're waiting on the people that says we can open up.
CMS updated its guidelines for visitation this week. Any visitor exposed to someone with COVID or showed signs of the virus will not be allowed to visit their loved one regardless of vaccination status. Nursing homes can continue to prohibit indoor visitation if a county's positivity rate is above 10% as well. Pepper Hill in Aiken County is still not allowing indoor visitation. Aiken County's positivity rate dropped below 10% 9 days ago. Richmond County has been below 10% for the past 17 days, but we found some nursing homes are still not offering indoor or even outdoor visits like the Pruitt facilities. A check of Pruitt's website shows visitation status as pending. I asked about it. Pruitt's representatives wrote they require a county positivity rate less than 10% for the prior 14 days. Also, some of the centers are still accepting COVID-19 patient admissions. This is a factor to consider as well. Additionally, they also told us they base their policy off of staffing levels, another recommendation made by CMS to reopen. Regardless of a county's positivity rate or an outbreak or vaccination status, CMS updated guidelines state indoor compassionate care visits should be permitted at all times. CMS further defines compassionate care visits not only as visits during end of life, but also visits from family when a resident is distressed or struggling with their environment. South Carolina's Department of Health and Environmental Control sent this memo out in November to long-term care facilities. Facilities who fail to comply with visitation requirements and do not have a reasonable cause in doing so are in violation of residents' rights and are subject to a civil penalty. Dr. Mark Newton represents the 123rd House District here in the Augusta area. He is a co-sponsor of House Bill 290. The bill prohibits hospitals and nursing homes from instituting any policy that limits visitation. This week, the House passed the bill and moved it over to the Senate.
She doesn't understand it, so that is a blessing to us that she's not one that's got a good mind and thinking we just left her, because we would never do that. Never.
All she can do is hold on to hope.
I just tell her to hang on. I'm coming.
That soon, a pane of glass will no longer separate her from her mother.
South Carolina is keeping an updated list of the visitation status at every nursing home in the state. You can check it out. We have a link on our website, wrdw.com. Georgia does not have that, so you'll need to call and check in with your loved one's nursing home to get the latest information. Liz Owens, on your side.
Along with everything else, it's a great reminder that these are not numbers. These are people with families, and that isolation is a killer.
It is, and it's almost a no-win situation for everyone involved, but you just hear these families, and you worry especially for the memory unit patients who just don't understand.
What's happening.
Yeah.
Hopefully things will improve and quickly, and we can only hope so. Thank you, Liz, for that. Okay, trying to help the homeless in our community.
As seen on TV sales event.
Brand new plans coming out just in the last few hours for the new James Brown Arena, and this looks pretty snazzy.
It's amazing how real this animation looks. I wish it was that fast, right? But we're going to take a closer look at what exactly is going on over there. Kennedy Harris live for us outside the existing JBA, and it's going to look a little different there in the next few years, especially if voters get behind this, Kennedy.
Right, Richard, and the meeting, it just wrapped up about an hour ago, and very soon the James Brown Arena and the Bell Auditorium could be getting a very big facelift. And this is the new design of the new James Brown Arena. The venue will house both the arena and the Bell Auditorium. If you remember back in September, we got our very first look at the design, but today the designers presented a much more detailed concept. The arena will be about the size of the Marriott Hotel downtown, and the outside will feature areas for public art and public meeting space. Brad Ussery, the vice chairman of the Coliseum Authority, says with Augusta's continued growth, this JBA is much needed.
Well, I think our growth warrants a venue like this. Plus, we're dealing with an obsolete venue in the old James Brown Arena. It doesn't have the capacity we need for seating. It doesn't have the capacity for rigging. And so, if we're going to stay in the entertainment business, we need to build this new arena.
And the designers say they will come back with a much more detailed concept in August, and if SPLOS 8 and the November bond referendum are passed, the whole project can be completed in 2024.
Interesting look, interesting plans. Kennedy, thanks very much for that live update there. Let's have a look outside now as we check in with Chief.
On Sunday before that rain shows up next week.
Riley, thank you. Students and staff standing together in protest outside Jefferson County High School today. They've been fighting on behalf of a beloved teacher who does not work there anymore after a disagreement with the principal. Now that teacher has lawyered up.
Zana Halliburton went to Jefferson County today to learn what led up to these protests.
Students left the classroom to protest on the sidewalk. Students at Jefferson County High School are upset over the resignation of Kenesha Roberts. She was a culinary arts teacher. Clarissa Briones says Ms. Roberts has helped her in the past, and that's why she's out here today.
Chef Robert
needs the justice that she deserves, because we all know that she would do the same for us if we was in this predicament.
Roberts recently resigned from Jefferson County High School because of concerns she said she had with the way different school events were handled. Students say they are also upset over the school's decision to remove Roberts from the prom committee and the cancellation of a pep rally performance. Shania Gibbons says she was always told to fight for what she believes.
And that's exactly what not only myself, everybody out here is doing. And I think that's the most important thing. You're supposed to fight what you believe in. And that's what we're going to do. And we're not going to stop until what we want done is done.
Current students weren't the only ones protesting. Tilden Walker graduated in 1996. He says they will continue protesting until things change.
We will do what we have to do to stand up for our kids. We will not back down. We will continue to stand for the students at Jefferson County High School and Chef Roberts.
Zayna Halliburton, on your side.
So tomorrow, Kenesha Roberts and her lawyer are holding a news conference at 4 o'clock outside the Jefferson County Board of Education. She says she has a long list of grievances. Today, the district superintendent released this statement. She says the school system is reviewing each concern, but they cannot comment. The first of a handful of state championship games in Georgia this afternoon. Mike's in Macon as JOSEY looks to capture a state title.
The exit. On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
In 3 of Josey's playoff games this season, the Eagles had to come back in order to win. Now, Josey faced Fannin County seeking their first title since 1998. The Eagles and Lady Rebels were shot for shot, bucket for bucket in the first half, though Fannin County would lead 23-19 heading to halftime. Josey had a nightmare start in the second half as they found themselves down by as much as 14 thanks to hot shooting from Rebecca Ledford and the Lady Rebels. Eagles had no quit in them. Kishona Bryant got the Eagles back within 8 at the end of the third. The biggest play of the game, Okoye Cody with the steal, and then Deja Hope with the layup to give the Eagles the lead with less than a minute to go. Josey completes the comeback, and more than 20 years after the drought began, it's over. Head coach Jawan Bailey never had a doubt in his team.
I had to tell myself about 3 or 4 times in that second half, like, hey, we've been here before, we've done this before, like, don't get down, don't let the girls see you get down, and don't allow them to get down. We were never in a terrible spot where we didn't believe that we could finish it off.
Sometimes the underdogs come out the champions. The remarkable season for Josey finishes in the best way possible. In Macon, Mike Yakachonis on your side.
Thank you for that update, Mike, and congratulations to our Josey girls. Fantastic job there, winning that state title. Beautiful weather to head out.